and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we help you understand all the latest trends of the stock markets, help you understand how the markets are trading today in terms of the sectors and the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade, the benchmarks, how are they doing, as well as what is the call that most of the experts are really taking on the markets as we approach the end of the year 2022 and a new year at that as well. Let's quickly have a look at how the markets are trading at this point in time. 18,133, the current level for the Nifty. It's just flat with a positive bias at this point in time. The advance decline ratio completely divided in trade. 26 advances to 24 declines is what we have right now. In terms of the various sectors of the Nifty, well, there are some declines. There's a mixed trend that you can really spot here. There's some decline coming in on the pharma pack, on metals, on IT, and on FMCG. So the defensives are clearly not doing well today. But what's really pulling up the markets higher is the rebound that you're seeing in the PSU Banks Index. That's up by 1.7% odd. The realty space is bouncing again too, 0.7% uptick for this one. The auto space is driving in the faster lane, about 0.7% up right here too. The Nifty Bank up by 0.2%, contributed clearly by the PSU Banking Index today. In terms of the broader markets, talk about the mid cap and the small cap index. Well, the mid caps are, especially the mid cap 100 index, that's up by about 0.25% odd in today's trading action. But the small caps is where slight losses are being seen, about 0.1% lower in trade today. In terms of the top gainers, you do have some of the names from the consumer space like Titan, that's rallying today, about 3.2% uptick from the jewelry pack, from the watches pack as well. From the auto space, you have both Maruti, M&M, rising about 1% odd in today's trade. Grasim, IndusInd Bank, the other movers in trade as well. On the losing side, however, you do have names from the metals basket like Hindalco that's pulling down. From the oil and gas basket, that's the ONGC stock that's down about 0.5% odd. Pharma pack stocks like Cipla are down in trade. Bharti Airtel is the top loser, 1.6% down, and Apollo Hospitals also down by about 1.25% odd as well. Let's in fact welcome our guest for the day to really understand the flavor of the markets more in detail. Siddharth Khemkha joins in from Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Siddharth, welcome to the show and thank you so much for taking the time out. Well, halftime on, the markets look a little lackluster in trade. There's a listless performance as far as the benchmarks are concerned. But how are you looking at the markets overall speaking as we are about to end this year and this series as well of December that has been quite volatile?
Yeah, first of all, very good afternoon to you, Sakshi, and wishing you and all the viewers very happy new year in advance. So if you look at what has been happening in the market is that we have seen one of the weakest December in a long history, both globally as well as in India. Generally, we do see volumes kind of drying up towards the end of December because of the holiday season creeping in. But we are seeing increasing volatility because of various global events that are taking place. So at one side, you have the recessionary fears going on in the US and Europe. And on the other side, there are fears of the COVID pandemic again re-emerging and spreading from China to other regions. But at the same time, the opening up of China is being taken positively, especially for the commodity space as a whole, because China is a huge consumer of commodities and demand going up because of economic activities returning back to normalcy in China can definitely help improve the economic growth outlook for the world as well. So I think the near term, if you look at the domestic environment, things looks pretty stable. There was a bout of profit booking that we saw last week. This week is seen from strength to strength index. Continuously, we are witnessing that any declines that we see in the index or in the market is being strongly bought into by a lot of these smart investors, HNIs, retail investors. I think the overall view remains positive. However, the end of the year could be on a somber note with sideways to marginally weak kind of an environment.
Okay, understood that. We will definitely talk about what to expect going forward into the new year. How should investors really form their strategies, the sectors and the stocks to keep on their radar. But very, very interestingly, it's December 28th and two stalwarts of Indian industry, of both 20th and the early 21st century. Dhirubhai Ambani and Ratan Tata share a common birth date, and that is today, December 28th. In fact, we do know of the rags to riches story. Everybody has heard about the kind of business tycoon career that Dhirubhai Ambani has built, and therefore, after that, Mukesh Ambani, who's now completed 20 years at the helm at Reliance Industries conglomerate as well. Everybody has been looking at how Reliance Industries has been perhaps one stock that most of the experts have tracked for large part of their lives and been quite bullish about. On the other hand, Tata Group again is one conglomerate that has contributed hugely to the overall market cap of our Indian stock exchanges too. I wanted to just understand from you, Siddharth, how do you really look at these two stalwarts, that journey that they have led in their lives, the lessons that you've learned, and also for investors, what both these conglomerates and groups, massive groups, have really contributed in the wealth creation journey over the last 20, 30 years?
Yeah, yeah, Sakshi. So I think it's a good day to celebrate the birth anniversaries of two big entrepreneurs in India who have been crucial in shaping the India's industrial uh, economy. So if you talk about if I talk were to look at Mr. Ratan Tata first, some of the core things that one associates with the Tata Group as a whole, and especially with Mr. Ratan Tata, is that of
Hmm.
being humble and of values. How a person can create wealth by keeping your core values intact, and also having a vision that you have to continue on a longer term basis. So I think that is something that you associate with, which is very essential for retail investors in the stock market as well, because market will humble you time and again. We generally feel that we have taken a bet and we make money, so we sometimes it becomes that success gets into the mind and that we feel that we have become a pro at market, but market will come back at us. And that is where becoming keeping humble as an investor will go a long way in creating wealth. At the same time, if you look at Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani, the biggest thing that one can learn about from him is that how to think big, and not only big, but how to think much bigger than what a person can think and achieve. So once you have that vision of thinking 10x 100x, think then the roadmap to achieving it will fall into place. So that's how Dhirubhai Ambani had built his empire, or you can say the conglomerate of Reliance Group, from scratch, and in a very short span of time. So we have not seen that. While the Tata Group has more than 100 years of existence, Reliance Group has a very short period of existence, and in that they have become one of the largest conglomerate of India. So that is the size and scale that one can think of, that definitely one can learn from Mr. Ambani.
That's very well put, Siddharth. So going forward from here, in 2023, we've seen the kind of massive wealth creation that most of the group stocks from Tata Group and Reliance Industries has also made in the past, in the last 20, 30 odd years. But going forward from here, what is your outlook, and what would you really advise investors who've been hardcore investors, have kept these stocks in their portfolio for extremely long periods of time? And for those investors who may want to start now, because we do know a lot of young investors have entered the fray in the last 3-4 years only, and this may be their chance to perhaps look at these large conglomerates as a first time pick for them as well. For both of these kind of investors, what would you advise as strategy?
So, Sakshi, if you look at Reliance Group as a whole, I think there are only few select stocks to invest in right now. So, Reliance Industries is the key
Yeah.
stock that one can buy, and I think we are very positive on Reliance from a you can say over the next few years, because of the way the business has diversified, both within the energy space and outside in the new age businesses like retail and telecom. And even within telecom, how they are using the platform based business to expand into other allied services. So I think over the next few years we'll see value unlocking within Reliance, A, from the retail business, B, from the telecom and the geo platform business, and see within the energy space that they operate in is the core business, what we say as oil to chemical business. There are multiple businesses,
Yeah.
and where the management has put in a new emphasis on renewable energy, which could be the future growth driver. So definitely, it's a good long term story that one can participate in. Within the Tata Group, I think there
Hmm.
are multiple companies. You'll have to select companies based on the cycle. So there are commodity stocks, there are services stocks, there are retail stocks, there are IT stocks. So I think some of the preferred picks within the Tata Groups that we like is a Tata Consumer, which is becoming a large player within the FMCG consumer discretionary space, and
Hmm.
is growing at a faster pace. Within the IT, TCS is a market leader, but a smaller company, Tata Elxsi, is doing well within the ERD space. That is something that one can look at. There are other similar companies that can come in future, because Tata is incubating some of these newer digital companies, platform companies. They have themselves planning a big retail business. So I think within that, right now, if you look at Westlife, is something that looks interesting within the retail space.
Okay, understood that. So, Siddharth, one more thing that we wanted to discuss today, apart from the both Reliance conglomerate and Tata Group stocks, and thanks for sharing all those stocks that you have on your list, as investors can track them going forward as well. A lot of small pockets have started to move in the last 2 3 weeks, last 2 3 months that we have seen. There's been a sector rotation in some of the smaller pockets that we never used to track so aggressively, like paper stocks, sugar stocks, these small stocks. And today, we've been looking a lot of momentum getting built on the power stocks index as well. Especially, the stocks like Adani Transmission, NTPC, Power Grid, all of them are up by about 1 2 odd percent. Adani Power up by 5%, or there's a 1.5% uptick on these NHPC kind of stocks as well. So a lot of momentum getting built on these. Your thoughts individually on all of these stocks, or any particular favorites that you may want to share from the power stocks?
Yeah, Sakshi. So if you look at some of the key themes that we believe could do well in the next 1 year, getting in as we step into 2023. Infra and capex is a theme that we believe could do well because of several reasons. We are seeing that consistently government capex has been on a rise, but finally we are seeing the private capex cycle also improving, and that should be positive for all these power sector companies as well, with the economic growth and industrial activity on the rise. We are having the upcoming union budget the first week of Feb, which will be the last full budget for the central government before the March 24 general election. So that could also lead to a large focus from the government on how they can improve infrastructure, how can they drive capex, which has been the key theme for the NDA government across several state elections as well. And we are finally seeing that order book for some of these companies have been pretty strong. Execution is now taking place, so that is leading to improvement in profitability. And with the large caps having done well so far, with Nifty above
Yeah.
18,000 levels, we believe that 2023, a lot of these mid and small cap stocks, these niche themes could play out and do well in 2023. So I think that is the whole thought process around the capex and infrastructure theme that we like. Definitely, if you ask in terms of power sector, yes, there are stocks, but if you look at the larger capex theme, L&T is something that we like from the capital goods space. Bharat Forge is something that we like as a play, both from a defense and capex theme. And within the power space, I think NTPC is something that we like, but more from a long term and a gradual, slow and steady stock.
All right, understood that. Well, thank you for giving us your preferred stocks from these two themes that you really believe that could be in, profitable ones in 2023. Siddharth, stay on with us. Tanya Aneja, my colleague, joins in with a list of all those buzzing stocks, those stocks that are trading, with momentum in today's trade, and all the news flows that are impacting them. Tanya, take it away.
Absolutely, Sakshi. So first of all, shares of Rail Vikas Nigam, that is RVNL, they were up in the trade today, and this is after the company received an appointment letter as project implementation agency for UTF Harbour project in Maldives. Now, this order for this project was placed by Ministry of External Affairs, and the project's cost stood at 1,544 crore rupees, and it will be completed within 24 months. We also have India Pesticides. Now the shares were up to the tune of 10% today, and this is after the company's wholly owned subsidiary, that is Shalvis Specialities, received environmental clearance for setting up a manufacturing plant, and a total of 41,000 shares changed hands on this particular counter against a 2-week average of 6,559 shares. We also have the Indian Energy Exchange. So shares of IEX are also in focus today. So the company has announced setting up a wholly owned subsidiary, International Carbon Exchange, that is ICX, to explore business opportunity in the voluntary carbon market. And as you were rightly pointing out, shares of Adani Group. So if you see shares of Adani Wilmar, Adani Power, they were all up in the trade to the tune of 5% today, and 5 out of 7 listed Adani Group companies were trading higher.
Sure.
Lastly, we have shares of Hari Om Pipe Industries as well. They were up to the tune of 13% today. And the shares hit a fresh record high after the company said that it has entered into asset transfer agreement with RP Metal Sections Private to purchase a unit that manufactures galvanized pipe and cold rolled coil. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Tanya, for sharing with us all those lists of stocks. Well, Siddharth, help me understand any of the rail stocks that interest you at all. Those stocks are moving too.
Yeah, so that is again the link to the capex theme that I spoke about. The government spending on defense, on railways has definitely gone up, and these stocks, some of them have got orders consistently, on back of which these stocks have been buzzing a lot with the upcoming budget, which is now clubbed along with the rail budget. I think railway stocks could continue to do well in the near term. Some of the stocks within the broader railway theme that we like are the IRCTC and RVNL, which is up today because of an order that they have gone. But I think these are some of the better known rail companies. The other, most of the railway PSUs should also follow the momentum in the rail stocks.
All right, understood that. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Siddharth, for being with us on the show and discussing with us all these sectors and themes that may be attracting a lot of returns for investors going forward into the new year. And here's wishing you, your team, and all your family members a very, very happy new year, upcoming new year, and hope it turns out to be very, very profitable and healthy year for you as well. Let's move on to now see how the markets are trading at this point in time as we wind down the show. The market's still holding up absolutely flat above that flat line. 18,136 is the current level for the Nifty, and that's the kind of move you're seeing still on the sectors. If you see, we do see a whole lot of move on the PSU banks. That's the one index that's moving higher in trade. Autos moving in the faster lane too. Royalty supporting as well, but it's the defensives that are not really contributing today. FMCG, pharma, IT, and even metals that are actually losing some bit of sheen. But we'll keep an eye out on the markets, especially the last 2 hours of trade. That's when we have seen in the last 2 or 3 odd weeks when the momentum really changes with a sudden recovery if the markets have been doing not too well in the first half of trading action. So keep an eye out on that to look for any signals of that kind of a bounce right there. With that, we wrap up this edition. Do not forget to stay tuned on to Business Today TV for a whole lot more coverage that comes up next for you from the world of business and stock markets. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also stay connected with us through all our social media handles. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Many thanks for tuning in. Until this edition.